Hello, world. Welcome to episode 130 of the Jimmy Canz Show. Classic Supercard Retrospective Time. Clash of the Champions, Knoxville, USA. This was the 15th Clash event, and it was obviously a WCW event held on Wednesday evening, June 14th, 1991, 8:05 Eastern, in Knoxville, Tennessee, at the Knoxville Civic Coliseum. As time suggests, it was aired live on TBS. Attendance was 5,000. That's about a 77% capacity for the venue. And the action was called by Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone. We'll get into the card. The opening contest was a 6-man contest. I seem to say that often at the start of these NWA / WCW supercards. They like to always kind of kick things off with 6-man tags, it seems. Anyway, Young Pistols, Tracy Smothers, and Steve Armstrong, joined by the Z-Man, taking on the Fabulous Freebirds. That was Michael P.S. Hayes, Jimmy Jam Garvin, and Bad Street. Joined by their road boss, Big Daddy Dink, and DDP with one of his Diamond Dolls. Hayes and Garvin were the current U.S. Tag Champions at the time as well. The baby faces with the early fire, Birds roll to the outside, slow the pace. Baby faces fire up again. Birds once again slow it down. Turns into an all-out brawl after a while, and then out of nowhere, the baby faces execute synchronized sunset flips from the apron and get a 3 count. I mean, all 3 men pinning, all 3 baby faces pinning all 3 heels simultaneously. And I honestly have no idea if the legal baby face pinned the legal Freebird. There was so much kind of chaos there toward the end of this one that it was just kind of, how did, it kind of happen, and was it legal? Don't know, but there you have it. So next up on the card, we see perennial journeyman Johnny Rich taking on Oz with the Great Wizard. This is the second time Oz is in action. Only one way this one really goes. I mean, Rich got the total jobber entrance here, where he's just announced, he's in the ring and announced after Oz's entrance. And it was pretty much Oz in a total squash in this one. Next up, Dangerous Dan Spivey taking on Big Josh. Very brawly match, just a lot of kicky punchy. Personally for me, Spivey's kind of slicked back receding hairline was very distracting. It's just not what I was accustomed to. When I think of Dan Spivey, I don't picture that. But speaking of distraction, Kevin Sullivan comes out during the match and nails Big Josh across the back with a crutch. I really didn't see what distracted the official and why it wasn't a DQ right there on the spot, but it did kind of distract to Spivey being able to hit a bridging belly to back suplex for the 3 count. So your winner in this one was Dan Spivey. Again, doesn't make much sense to me booking wise. Josh is kind of a new signee that they've been trying to kind of elevate and push. Spivey's the long tenured kind of veteran who's been in and out of the promotion over the years, and he's just kind of wishy-washy in terms of his commitment. Is he going to stick around? So why you're continuing to kind of get behind him, I don't understand. I mean, talent's there, but he just kind of drive and ambition didn't seem to be. So kind of an odd booking decision there, in my personal opinion. Anyways, next up, we see the computerized man of the 1990s, Terrence Taylor, the York Foundation taking on the Natural Dustin Rhodes. This is a rematch from Super Brawl. Rhodes gets the W yet again here via DQ, but this entire situation here is pretty much remembered more so for the post-match with the heel turn by Ricky Morton. As a little later in the show, it's announced that the York Foundation has a new member. Shocker, shocker. It turned to be Ricky Morton, who is now going by Richard Morton. I mean, that kind of was the whole York Foundation shtick. Rather than being a Terry or a Ricky or a Tommy, you were now a Terrence and a Richard and a Thomas and a yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, you go by your more formal name when you join the York Foundation. Yeah. So, yeah. Again, like I said, the Ricky Morton to Richard Morton turn, then, later in the evening led to the confrontation between he and. Anyway, Sting takes on the Russian Nightmare, Nikita Koloff next. This was set up from the Super Bowl situation with Koloff nailing Sting, who kind of took the bullet for Luger there. But before I discuss the match from a story aspect that they've been going with here, it's kind of confusing. I mean, like, you reintroduced Koloff and it looked like you were building to Koloff Luger. Koloff was really trying to attack Luger. Sting intervened. So, you kind of side railed things here a little bit. And then on top of that, jump ahead slightly in the card. A little later on, Luger is going to be facing Muta. And, you kind of teased a rekindle of the Muta and Sting feud back when you did the Japan Super Show, and now facing Muta and Koloff facing Sting. So, I mean, honestly, if you kind of wanted to intermingle this stuff a little bit, why didn't they book this as a tag match with Koloff and Muta taking on Sting and Luger? Then you could have still had Sting with some interaction with Koloff to get, a little bit of revenge from Super Brawl, but yet you're still furthering the original concept of the Koloff Luger thing because they're involved. You're still getting more of a payoff on the Sting Muta stuff that you kind of teased, but whatevs. Sting gets the W here with a simple roll up. Koloff went chest first into the buckle on a missed Russian sickle attempt. He hits the buckle hard and just kind of gets rolled up. 3. So your winner, Sting. A little later in the evening, Sting comes back out to see a fan who won a Sting lookalike contest and is attacked again by Koloff, thus furthering this feud. So it seems to kind of abandon the Koloff thing in favor of Koloff and Sting. Tag action next. Unique stipulation here that only the individual who takes the fall must leave WCW. This one, for having a big stipulation like that, it barely goes over 3 minutes. I see why a little bit. Elegante is very limited in what he can do. So working a Broadway with him isn't really a concept here. This, for as short as this was, it was very odd. Point in the match, Pillman drop kicks Arn off the top turnbuckle down to the floor. When Arn gets back into the ring, he is then choked by Elegante, and Wyndham comes in without a tag. And Pillman starts wrestling with Wyndham. The officials just acting like, this is fine. And Pillman actually even executes his off the shoulder of Elegante cross body onto Wyndham. And the official goes for the 3 count. When Wyndham's not the legal man, he was never tagged in. Anderson breaks that up. And Pillman's, got the advantage on Anderson again. Shortly after that, he goes to the top. Wyndham grabs the ankle, causing Pillman to face plant hard onto the mat. And then as he is getting up from that, Wyndham comes in and boots him right across the face, and then covers him for the 3. So Wyndham's not the legal man, but they let the decision stand. Pillman must now leave WCW. Yeah, this is just a weird finish. Didn't make a lot of sense. Rules, who needs them, I guess. This was kind of the start of the short-lived yellow dog angle that they did with Pillman, as obviously, this is kayfabe, the lose relief thing, and they played it out a little bit, and they had him wrestling under a mask for a while as so. You'll see some yellow dog action in our next WCW retro, but just touched on that real quick. Next up, another tag team contest. This one for the IWGP tag team titles. First time ever that the IWGP tag team championships will be defended live on American television. Not technically a rematch from the Japan Super Show, as now Hiroshi Hata is tagging with Masahiro Chono instead of Kensei Sasaki. Scott defending the IWGP tag team titles here. Good hard-hitting contest. Not surprising given these 4 individuals. The Steiners, retain in the same fashion that they won the titles, with a Frankensteiner. In post-match, they are then attacked by the Hardliners, who was the team of Dick Murdoch and Dick Slater. So they're starting to set up a Murdoch and Slater and Steiner feud. This one doesn't kind of pan out the way everybody thought it would. I'll get into that a later retrospective point in time. So there you have that. Steiners retain the IWGP tag team titles on American television, another first in professional wrestling history. Former NWA World's Champion Tommy Wildfire Rich taking on DDP's newest charge in the form of one Diamond Stud. As a former NWA champion, it was very sad to see Rich get the jobber entrance. He's just in the ring and announced post Diamond Stud entrance. Stud dominates this one, getting the win in just about 2 minutes. So Tommy Wildfire Rich goes from former NWA World Champion to total jobber. As I mentioned earlier, Lex Luger, the total package, defending the U.S. title against the Great Muta. Scary spot, honestly, in this one on the Muta elbow attempt. Luger moved, and Muta got so much height that he overshot the buckle and the ropes completely, going all the way to the floor. Luckily, he landed okay. Could have easily landed on his head. Wow. Luger then blocks the mist and hits a power slam for the 3 to retain. Recently debuting and now United Television champion, Stunning Steve Austin, with Lady Blossom taking on Jumpin' Joey Maggs. Not even 30-second squash, with Austin retaining. And then this takes us to the main event of the evening, 2 out of 3 falls for the WCW World title. Beautiful Bobby Eaton versus the Nature Boy Ric Flair. The final televised title defense for Flair. Due to very major creative differences, Flair would end up being fired by WCW executive VP at the time. Heard shortly after this, he's still champion and still in possession of the title. Rick would actually sign with the WWF, not just bringing the WCW title with him, but the retro. So just thought I'd touch quick. Eaton took the first fall with the Alabama Jam. Flair evened it up via a count out on Eaton, and Flair finally locks a figure 4 onto Eaton's injury ache, and he just kind of lays there in pain, shoulders down, 1, 2, 3. Really odd seeing a pinfall off of figure 4, but there you have it. Another funny side note here was Jim Ross kept referring to Eaton as this youngster when there's a 6-year difference between them. So that was the Clash. Interesting show, to say the least. It's not a really good show. The main helped bail it out a little bit, and the tag match was a solid match. With the post match angle was a little meh. It's just kind of a meh show. Hall of Fame involvement in the show was quite prevalent. Obviously, you had 13 WWE Hall of Famers involved in this one, from Hazen Garvin and the Freebirds, DDP, Nash, Hall, Sting, Rick and Scott Steiner, Muda, Steve Austin, Double A, Wyndham, Flair. Up to 15, or no, 14, excuse me, if we count Jim Ross on commentary as well. So yeah, pretty robust Hall of Fame card, but quality of it, yeah, pretty medium level. Highs were pretty high, lows were pretty low. 10 belt scale, I'll say this one's with a 5 out of 10. Some stinkers, some decent ones, poor story development, honestly. Really overall quality was a 4, but I bumped this one up by 1, just simply due to the amount of glorious mullets on the show. Go back and look through the competitors in this one. You got quite a few Kentucky waterfalls going on in this one. So I gave her a 1 belt bump, just out of sheer absurdity. So next up on the classic retrospectives, we will discuss WCW Great American Bash 91. This was a very unique show, to say the least. So tune in for that one. It'll be worth it. Not a very good show quality-wise, but it should be a fun discuss. So as always, wherever you are, I hope you're doing well. Take care of one another, and I will see you all when I see you.